Hello and welcome everyone. You joined me back for some more infrastructure programming. I'm not in an identical version of the repo that you saw in the previous episode, and you can probably tell by the README being populated by instructions. Between this time and last time, I wrote some tests and I better formatted docs, and I split out from the main file into actual playlist automation and YouTube client library that we're going to be using. And also added some argument passing. Basically, I gave the project a little bit of polish it needed, because when I was writing it, I forgot that I wanted to extend it to do other things as well. So, speaking of other things, that's what I'm going to do today. In between episodes again, I will probably apply the same testing and also start to write docs. A README is nice, but it doesn't tell you everything. First up, I'm going to create a new Git branch. Git checkout -b, and this will give it away. Calendar integration. That's exciting, isn't it? So what are we doing today? Well, I've automated one of the things I like, but what about the other one? I like to know when a video is going to be released. I also like to know when my previous videos have been released. I don't want to have to go to the YouTube UI every single time. It's annoying, and sure, I can check on my phone on the Studio app, but I use Google Calendar for everything at work. So here's the thing. On my YouTube account, I have created two calendars. I've created a public video calendar, and I have created a private video calendar. And in YouTube, I have public videos. These are the ones that are already published, and I have private videos. These are scheduled to be released. What I would like to do is, for every video, check if it is published or scheduled. If published, add it to the public calendar with the publish date and time as the calendar event date and time. And also probably include, why is this giving me a Python script? Plans, plans.mud. Include the YouTube details such as title, length, description, link maybe, etc. I didn't mean to Control-Shift-V, that gives me a preview, I just meant to do Control-V. The problem with switching between using the terminal and using the not terminal is, in the terminal you Control-Shift-V in order to paste, in this you just Control-V. It's really annoying. Anyway, yes, if private, add it to the private calendar. However, I don't just add it to the calendar, check if it is already in the calendar, because of course I might have changed the video upload date, details, etc. So essentially I want the calendar to be a live view of the state of my videos. So that means that, if I change the upload date, then the calendar entry should. If I change the title, the calendar entry should update along with that. I will be able to see at a quick glance by looking at my calendar when I have videos coming out, or when I've had videos come out previously. And that's kind of what I want to do today. I have a few other ideas up my sleeve for calendar integration, so I'm cutting my teeth on it with a slightly simpler task. So what will probably happen now is I will just crack on with programming and get VoiceOver Sky. I love that guy. And he'll just talk you through what I do and condense what will probably be a couple of hours down into a couple of minutes. And then you'll join me back when the project is finished, probably have a live demonstration. Oh, also calendar events deleted if the video no longer exists. Just maintaining. Calendar should always be in sync with YouTube, and YouTube is the single source of truth for the calendar. Okay, I'm going to start programming, and you might drop back into live, quote unquote, every time I have something fun to say or something to rant about. But for the most part, it'll probably be VoiceOver Sky giving you some running commentary on what I'm doing. And now you're stuck with me, VoiceOver Sky, in the edit. And we are beginning not where we did last time, but actually with the new version of this repo with a better structure. So I'm just building out the Calendar API objects that will actually interact with Google Calendar and wrap a lot of the functionality around it, because I'm using the bare requests, I suppose, is how you might say it. Google does distribute an authentication version, as you can see some of the package imports at the top there, but it's less a wrapper around those functions and more a direct Python call that will actually call the API requests. I didn't need to explain nearly as much of that as I just did, but this is what you get. The, I suppose, unedited stream of thoughts that would have otherwise been edited down, such as... my phone just buzzed. Such as what you saw at the beginning of this episode, where it sounded like I had a cohesive and continuous set of words. No, I just edited all of them down. What's that on my time? It's about 4 minutes was the entire intro and explanation for this video. That took me like 12 minutes worth of saying. I waffle on a lot. Case in point, this. But yes, I am beginning this with comparing to the YouTube API service that I created in between episodes on the right hand side there, and on the left hand side I am starting with some of the calendar automation. Primarily I'm trying to just get the Google OAuth service set up. It's annoying. This project spanned multiple days, and the first hour and a half, I wouldn't quite say 2 hours, the first hour and a half I was definitely fighting against Google OAuth. It's weird, I don't like it. Also, Google Cloud, your Firefox... no, hang on. Google Cloud, your website is really slow on Firefox. It's barely bearable on Chromium. But anyway, yes, now I've moved the Calendar API file that I've started writing over onto the right, because I've taken everything I need for the YouTube API. So now, yeah, that was a time skip there where I took a break to do Google OAuth. See previous 3 minutes worth of complaining. But yeah, I'm starting to write the generic Python functions such that, you know, in our main script we just want to call things like calendar.fetchCalendar, and on the back end that will loop through all of the calendar objects on your on your Google account using the Python fetch library that Google ships with. But we're just cleaning it up, and there I'm starting to create a data class for the calendar object, so that rather than manipulating the direct dictionary that you get back from the API, it's packaged up quite neatly into our own internal objects. So yeah, I don't actually get a lot of feature work done in the first programming session, which, as I mentioned, spans 2 days. I'm mostly focused on all of the boilerplate to get the project working and easy to work on. And here I'm adding some colours. These go away, don't get attached to them, and we'll see how annoying those were to deal with a little bit later. And there I'm testing colours the first time around. But yes, as with any programming projects, you spend the first 70% of your time writing boilerplate, and it's only the last 30% where you actually get to use it, provided you actually complete the project. But there's actually something funny that occurred during this, so have you ever wondered what it sounds like for me to slowly lose my mind while trying to deal with the Google Calendar Color API? Well, here's a live recording of exactly that happening. Alright, I really hope this works. It's annoying. Banana, sage, cobalt, blueberry, lavender, wisteria, graffiti, birch, red, amethyst. Has that worked? Fuck! I did mean lavender. But did it work at least? Did it make a tomato colour thing? No. Why? Yeah, so that was an accurate representation of my mental state. Very close to giving up on the project for that day and making this a 3-day project rather than just a 2-day. Well, I say 2-day. It was like 5 hours of actually programming split over 2 days, but that's largely irrelevant. Yeah, so Google Calendar Color API, would not recommend. There doesn't seem to be any obvious way of making it work, so we're not going to have that. And I hope that is all fine for you. So if you use these scripts, run it once to create the calendars, and then manually change the colours. That's all. Yes? Yes. I forgot what I was going to say, but that's it. Anyway, so we are now working on fetching all of the calendar events. You know, we've got all of the stuff in place to create the calendars that we need, which is one tiny part of the actual project overall. So yeah, you can see that I'm creating a generic event object that will hold the same details for each calendar event that the calendar object will hold for each calendar as a whole. And I'm just writing a little bit of code there to convert it from the dictionary representation that the calendar API gives us into our Python representation object as a class method, and vice versa. This is because I want the calendar API class to only ever ship out our custom code. It should never just serve up the raw dictionary, and there is actually a funny moment later where I find a small bug in my script where it does accidentally give the dictionary, but I guess technically that constitutes a spoiler. Anyway, I'm now starting, you can see on the left hand side I've started writing out an add videos to calendar function. It does exactly what it says. It takes the list of videos that you supplied from our YouTube API object that we created in the previous episode. You give it a calendar. Well, actually, slightly more accurately, you give it a list of events in the calendar that you want it to add to. And it looks for, in the very top field of the description, the ID of the video in question. If it finds it, then it stops. It's all good. That video is in the calendar. If it doesn't find it, then whoops, that video is missing, so it creates an event, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But as part of that, also, you know, it's not enough just to say, oh, video ID blurb is in the, that was not a word, is in the calendar. You also have to double check that all the details are correct. So, you know, if video blurb, I don't know why I'm still going with this, but here we are, is in the calendar, you always need to check that its published date is correct, that the title is correct, the description. Basically, we use the single video ID field as the single thing to reference the entire calendar event from the video, and if there's any disparity between the two, we delete the calendar event and replace it with a new, fresh one made from the video, because you know, YouTube is the source of truth. If they differ, the calendar is assumed wrong, because why would the calendar be correct and YouTube be wrong? That's the reasoning that goes into it. And you can see there I'm just writing a quick modification to the fetch events and sync events part of the calendar API. So rather than fetching everything live, I started caching, because the evening before, day one of this project, I was hitting API read limitations. So what I instead figured out is you can use a sync token, which when you query from the API only gets the new details since the previous time you sank, whatever. And I'm also caching all of the event details so that you can work on them locally without having to, you know, you delete something, then you send out a delete request, then you come back, then you delete another one, etc. You can just do batch delete and update operations. And that was the major optimization I did, and I suppose now we're back into live mode. It actually shows all of the videos where they're meant to be, although that's at 11:01. What's nice as well is it shows both the video start and duration, which is what I wanted, but why was it 11:01? Well, I mean, this comes from the API, so it will be correct. Yeah, that's really cool. Now it shows up in the calendar, so I can see when something is scheduled to be released, and I can see there's Multiverse Logistics showing. Cool! Okay, so that works. Now I'm going to do the same for the private calendar, but I'm not going to show you guys that, so sorry. I spent a lot of time just writing boilerplate code to get to here. Oh, okay, that just ran perfectly fine, did it? The episode that is going out next Saturday from my perspective, or this Saturday, it's a Friday today. So the episode that's going out tomorrow, I have uploaded, but it's not showing up. It's showing up when I uploaded it, rather than when it's scheduled to be published. Right, I see, because I did publish that. Okay, cool, that's showing up when I've scheduled it to upload tomorrow. Ah, I'm so happy. I am going to delete the channel trailer. No, I'm going to move the channel trailer and see if So I didn't upload it on Thursday at 6 whenever AM. I'm going to run this again and check that the updating is working. Don't know how to delete yet, but we're working on it. Hey, it's moved back. Cool. Let's go back to our plans. So, we have a public video calendar, we have a private video calendar, we've got public videos which are published, private which are scheduled. Check if it's published or scheduled. I'm going to move this over here. Check if it's published or scheduled. Well, that comes super easily. We just fetch the public or the scheduled videos. If published, add it to the published calendar with the published date and time as the calendar date and time here. So that can go. If private, add it to the private calendar. We've done that as well. Calendar should have a live overview state of my users. It does that. We have seen. Calendar event should be deleted if the video no longer exists. That's the final bit that I need. We have title, length, description, link. We've got all of the details. All I need to do is figure out how to delete a calendar event if it's no longer referencing a video. How do I do that? Okay, don't worry. You're almost at the very end of the video. This is the final time you get to hear me in the live edit. So I hope you have enjoyed hearing this. I know programming is a very different style of video to gameplay that I make, for example. But we are currently just adding the ability to delete videos from the calendar. There's been a lot of jumps and skips in the footage that you've been seeing. That's mostly just because I'm referencing the documents on the side. I've never worked with the Google Calendar API before, so it was a fun learning experience. And also, I've just realized there's actually a whole bunch of details there. And nope, reading the tiny screen, it's all safe. Okay, I didn't accidentally leak my entire upload schedule, which is not nearly as long as I'm otherwise making it out to be. It's like 2 videos I haven't released at the time of recording. It's 2 videos I haven't released yet. But yeah, I'm now also writing a short function to purge videos that no longer exist. For example, if I delete them from YouTube, then they'll be deleted from the calendar. And that surprisingly works first time. So yeah, goodbye from the edit. Right, editing me. I need you to blur out the things again. They're just coming up now. I can see the application log on one side. That's fine. Yay! Okay. I'm so glad this works. And also I am going to very quickly remove it here. At debug. Yes, we have calendars here. I'm going to delete all Realism 5 from this. Realism, this is super long. Number 6. Run it. See that this should populate correctly. I can see in the application log on the side here that it's being updated. And yeah, look, those are updated, but dictionary object has no event description. What do you mean? What? What? I don't understand. Huh? Why is... That should never be a... I'm so confused. I'm so confused. See, it didn't do it here. What? I'm holding in my hands. I'm going to fix this later, figure out what the heck that problem was in the side, and also fix some of this linting and stuff. Those are all boring tasks. We have the functionality, and that's the important bit. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I know these infrastructure videos are very different. I will see you in another infrastructure project, or the next gaming video. I actually have a calendar now that I can see when it's coming out. But yes, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next video.